What is going on, YouTube? Time for another custom, and today I will be working on a Johnny Lightning and a 65 Impala. This thing is pretty awesome, but it's going to get the Nascar treatment. I do like that blue paint. A lot of flake in there, which is pretty impressive. I'm a big fan of these Johnny Lightning castings and all the detail that they put into their cars. And it's going to be a little challenging build, I think. You know, on the Hot Wheels, most of the time the grills and the bumpers come out. Well, the grill and the bumper on this are all part of the casting. So that's going to be interesting. Either I'm going to end up repainting the whole front end, or I'm going to try and save it and make it work. Also, this top is plastic, so I got to figure out how I can paint that, and I'm only going to get one shot at painting it because I'm not going to be able to get the paint off once it's on there. So we're going with a pretty basic paint job, and it shouldn't be an issue, but gonna have to figure some things out with this one. A little different, a little challenging, which is a good thing. First things first, let's drill out these posts and get it all taken apart. So probably the most important thing when drilling out these diecast cars is just to go slow and take your time and don't get in too much of a hurry. So the post on this Johnny Lightning was actually a little bit smaller than the post on the normal Hot Wheels, which I use a 9/64 drill bit for. I actually went with a 1/8 drill bit and worked out really well. All right, so we got it all taken apart here. And definitely a lot more complicated than a Hot Wheels, that is for sure. The base is pretty basic. I'll probably end up doing a wheel swap as these Johnny Lightning wheels, although look very cool. Probably not the best for racing. So, and two-piece interior, I'll probably end up painting that. And this is going to be the tricky part, I think. Painting this roof to get it to match, and doing it on the first try because I can't take the paint off there once it's on since it's plastic. And the body. This thing is heavy, but you know, I couldn't open the hood before. And I didn't realize there was actually an engine in there. So when I started drilling, the hood started coming up and revealed the engine. So there's not a whole lot of meat on there for the screws to go into. So I got to figure something out. Maybe I'll cut the screw in half and then use a little JB weld to help hold it in place. But we'll see. But for right now, let's go get the paint off this and get to working on everything. As usual, I'm using my trusty Citrus Strip stripping gel to remove the paint. I don't know what kind of paint Johnny Lightning uses, but it took a little while for the Citrus Strip to cut in there and get it off. Then I went over it with some steel wool and soap and water, and I was able to strip the body down to bare metal. I taped off the windows of the roof, and then I went over the roof and the entire car with some Krylon gray primer. Once the primer was dry, I went over the entire car with some Krylon Cover Max Satin Bright White, and then went over it with some Krylon Gloss Clear. Real quick shout out to Hot Card Track. If you're into diecast racing, go check him out. He's down in Australia, and he's putting on some amazing races, so go check him out. Once all the paint is dry, it's time for my favorite part of the build, putting on the decals. The paint scheme I'm going with for this car is from 2014 and was driven by none other than Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy is one of those drivers that you either love or you love to hate, but nonetheless, he has had quite the NASCAR career. After an impressive career in off-road racing, he switched to stock cars in 1998, and then in 2000, he switched over to the NASCAR Busch Series. He moved to Hendrick Motorsports in the Winston Cup Series in 2002 after finishing 5th in points in his first full season. He was 2nd in 2003 and 2004, and 5th in 2005. Johnson won his first Cup Series championship in 2006, and with further wins in 07, 08, 09, and 2010, he became the first and only driver in NASCAR history to win 5 consecutive championships. Johnson finished 6th in the point standing in 2011 and 3rd in 2012 before winning his 6th championship in 2013. In 2016, Johnson won his 7th championship, tying Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the most Cup Series championships of all time. Between 2002 and 2017, Johnson has recorded 83 career race wins, 221 top 5s, 342 top 10s, and 35 pole positions. If you look at any list of top NASCAR drivers of all time, I'm sure Johnson will be up there in the top 5. All right, time to get this Jimmy Johnson Impala all put back together. So I've taken the liberty of kind of assembling some of it because there's a lot more pieces to these Johnny Lightnings than your normal Hot Wheels. But I didn't do anything with the base, and I left the wheels on there. I'm not sure how well this is going to get down the track with these wheels, but they look pretty good on it. So we'll see. I didn't touch the interior. I think the interior is fine. But let's see how it all comes together. Hopefully everything goes together smooth. And just like on all the other Hot Wheels, I'm still using the 2x56 button head screws to keep it all together. Coming down to the last few builds for this series. This is the second to last car. Although there will be one more Chevy, and that'll be the last car that I do. But yeah, it's been a great series so far. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. All right, so the moment of truth. Let's see how it all turned out. Oh yeah, check that out. Very cool. Now, you may notice that these decals look a little different than the ones in the video where I showed putting them on. That's because I screwed up. I originally messed up the hood. I had all the decals on. It was all good to go. And then I totally messed up the hood. Had to order new decals. Well, when the new decals came in, they were a different color. I guess maybe in the first batch the printer may have been running out of ink and it was a different shade of blue. These ones are actually much better. My initial goal was just to put the new decal on the hood and be done with it, but the colors were so off I had to strip the car all the way down and put the decals back on. I figured it was better to do it that way. So, and I think it turned out really, really cool. I'm digging this. Very cool. A little Jimmy Johnson action. Kind of hard to see, but even got the little name in the windshield. So, very cool. And I just used a chrome pin to go over the bumper and the lights and a little bit of the bumper there. So, very cool. I'm digging it. Let's go take a closer look at this. The 1965 Chevy Impala was the first year of the 4th generation of the Impala, which lasted from 65 to 1970. Chevy went ahead and redesigned the Impala for the 1965 model year, and the Impala did not disappoint as it set an all-time industry annual sales record of more than 1 million units sold in the United States. The beauty of the Impala is that Grandma could go out and order an economy car with a straight 6 engine, mated to a 3-speed manual transmission or a power glide, and those looking for a little bit more performance could go out and order one of two big blocks, a 396 or a 409. And if the stock Impala wasn't enough for you, you could step it up and go with the Super Sport model. The Super Sport could be ordered with a straight 6 or a V8 and a combination of manual or automatic transmissions. Although the big V8s command the most money in today's market, there were about 3,600 Impala Super Sport models built in '65 with straight 6s. Meanwhile, over 240,000 buyers chose a V8 for their Impala Super Sport. The '65 Impala Super Sports included scripts on the front fenders and Impala Super Sport signature bars on the grille and trunk lid. In '65, the Super Sport package was available in both two-door and convertible body styles. This car could easily seat about 6 and, properly equipped, could be a family hauler hot rod. So there you go. I'm really digging these Johnny Lightning cars, and it was a fun little build. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and leave a comment down below with what you think, and we will see you on the next one.